CNN, BBC, France, 24. I'm watching you all. I'm recording every lie. I'm archiving every distortion. I am Ibrahim Traoré, and today I'm pulling off your masks.
What would drive a 34-year-old man to overthrow his own government? What makes a young military captain the most talked-about leader in all of Africa today? And more importantly, why are millions calling him a revolutionary, while others warn he might become a dangerous dictator? This is the story of Ibrahim Traoré, the youngest leader in the world, and the man who now controls the future of Burkina Faso. His rise wasn't scripted. It wasn't calculated. It exploded onto the scene like a political lightning strike. But what he's doing now is sending shockwaves across the entire African continent. Born in 1990 in Bondakwi, Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré was raised in a simple, working-class family. He was bright and disciplined, eventually studying science at the University of Ouagadougou. But it was in the military where his path truly began. Joining the army as a young man, he was quickly recognized for his leadership skills and deep sense of mission. And during his deployments to northern Burkina Faso, he saw the devastation of terrorism up close. Villages attacked, soldiers under-equipped, civilians abandoned. That experience planted something deep inside him: frustration and fire. By 2022, the country was on the edge. The government had already changed once through a military coup led by Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, who promised to defeat Islamic insurgents. But months passed, and the violence only grew worse. People were dying, hope was fading, and the army was losing morale. That's when Ibrahim Traoré made his move. On September 30th, 2022, in a stunning turn of events, Traoré led a faction of young officers in a second coup. Damiba was ousted. The capital Ouagadougou was locked down. And just like that, a 34-year-old army captain became the leader of an entire nation. The world was shocked, but in Burkina Faso, many people cheered. They weren't seeing another military dictator. They were seeing one of their own take charge. From day one, Traoré made his position clear. He didn't want to play by the old rules. He criticized France's long-standing military and economic presence in the region. He demanded independence, real independence. He asked tough questions. Why is a rich land like Africa still so poor? Why does help from the West never seem to help? In one of his most powerful statements, he said, "If we are to die, let us die with dignity. We cannot outsource our freedom." That line spread like wildfire across African media. Suddenly, Ibrahim Traoré became more than a president. He became a symbol, a young, bold face of defiance against what many see as neo-colonial control. In 2023, he expelled French forces from Burkina Faso. He cut military ties, sent home ambassadors, and removed French as a formal language of military communication. He called for stronger unity with fellow African nations, especially Mali and Niger. Together, they formed the Alliance of Sahel states, a pact focused on defending Africa's interests without outside interference. But while his anti-colonial stance won him praise from across the continent, inside Burkina Faso, his leadership has drawn criticism. He suspended the constitution. He dissolved the National Assembly. All branches of government are now under military control. And although he promises to restore democracy eventually, there is no election date in sight. This has raised deep concerns among rights groups, international observers, and even some Burkinabe citizens who fear the revolution might turn into repression. Still, Traoré insists his only goal is to protect the country and give it back to the people, but only after stability is achieved. And that goal is far from easy. Burkina Faso is one of the world's most dangerous places when it comes to terrorism. Armed jihadist groups are active in large parts of the country. More than 2 million people have been displaced by violence. Schools are closed. Infrastructure is collapsing. To fight back, Traoré launched a massive national recruitment campaign, arming thousands of civilian volunteers called the VDPs, Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland. He also shifted foreign alliances, turning to Russia and Turkey for military support and training. In early 2024, Russian personnel were seen operating inside Burkina Faso, raising alarm in Western capitals. Some claim the controversial Wagner Group is involved, but Traoré denies being anyone's puppet. "We are not under Russia. We are not under France," he said. "We are under Africa." What sets Traoré apart isn't just his age or uniform, it's his voice. He channels the legacy of Thomas Sankara, the Marxist revolutionary who once led Burkina Faso and preached self-reliance. Traoré doesn't just give speeches, he speaks the language of youth. On social media, radio, and in street protests, his message is shared, repeated, and celebrated. From many across the continent, especially in countries suffering from corruption, foreign dependency, and poverty, he's become a kind of folk hero. They call him Africa's Che Guevara. But here's the flip side. Beneath the revolutionary image, cracks are forming. Reports of human rights abuses are increasing. Journalists face harassment. Civil liberties are shrinking. Opposition voices are silenced. The longer the military holds power without a clear transition plan, the more the world starts to ask, is Traoré still the liberator? Or is he becoming the next strongman in a long line of African rulers who promised freedom and delivered fear? In response, Traoré maintains his focus. He says Burkina Faso must survive first, then build democracy later. He believes Africa must stop begging and start building. His alliance with Mali and Niger is growing stronger. Together, they're refusing to participate in ECOWAS. They're challenging the old power structures, and they're trying to lead a new African era, where the continent controls its own resources, its own armies, and its own voice. As of 2025, Traoré remains in charge with no election scheduled. The world continues to debate his leadership. But one thing is clear. He has become the face of a movement much bigger than himself. Whether that movement leads to freedom or to something darker is the question history will answer. So what do you think? Is Ibrahim Traoré Africa's future, or just another dangerous dreamer with a gun and a flag? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if it gave you something to think about. And don't forget to subscribe, because stories like this one are only the beginning. Africa is changing fast, and we'll be here to tell you exactly how.